wanting to see me fail for literally like they're suing me for something.
Mike Tyson just gave Jake Paul the kind of public humiliation you'd expect from a reality TV show, but with way more punches and way less dignity. You've probably heard the gossip about Jake's lawsuits, new rules and all that jazz, but this latest revelation, it's so insane it'll make Jake's previous blunders look like a walk in the park. Seriously, if Jake knew Tyson had this ace up his sleeve, he might have just packed his bags and stayed out of the ring. He should know Tyson's got this uncanny ability to sniff out secrets like a bloodhound, and no matter how tight Jake's crew thinks they're, Tyson's still one step ahead. I know Jake Paul's antics are really exhausting, but let's be real, no one's on Tyson's level. Sometimes I think, Tyson, focus on your health, man, don't waste your time on Jake's daily drama. But then I think, what if someone challenged my dignity, skills and experience? I'd want to set the record straight, and Mike Tyson's definitely not one to let it slide. And even when the opponent first begged for a fight and then do strategic cheating, and as we know, Tyson, the boxing beast who was taking names and crushing souls, officially hung up his gloves after his bout with Kevin McBride in 2005. That fight was supposed to be his last hurrah, and it wasn't exactly the grand exit we all pictured. At 38, Tyson's ferocity seemed like a distant memory. He retired with a legacy of epic victories and equally epic controversies. The Iron Mike we all knew was on a break, and who could blame him? Fast forward to 2020, and Tyson decided to dust off his gloves for a charity exhibition match against Roy Jones Jr., although according to Joe Rogan it was fixed, as he said. And back then at 55, Tyson came back with some impressive moves that made fans nostalgic and reminded them why they fell in love with boxing in the first place. Then we have your favorite Jake Paul. Okay, don't get offended, it was an intended pun. So this guy's been making waves not by knocking out professional boxers, but by throwing punches.
As he said,
the Roy Jones fight, they made an agreement not to punch in the head. I'm pretty sure, because I watched that fight carefully many times, and it never looked like he was targeting Roy's head. Which makes sense why Roy agreed to do the fight, you know?
As an internet stardom and trash talking like there's no tomorrow. Paul's transition from YouTube antics to boxing has been nothing short of controversy. His victories over other social media stars and retired athletes have made him this controversial but intriguing figure in the boxing world, and here's how Jake's brushing off all these accusations. Opinion, but you might think if Mike was so confident about Jake's bad reputation, why he agreed to step in the ring with him? Well, Tyson's acceptance wasn't just about proving he could still go toe-to-toe with a younger fighter. Instead, he wanted to remind everyone that boxing is more than just hype, and Jake Paul's hype machine was cranking out some pretty wild claims, and this one was just par for the course. Calling yourself
hate the world we're living in. That's what I'm saying. It sucked. It's so bad.
Misinformation and disinformation on the internet right now is rampant.
Because nobody has the intellect to be able to form opinions.
But
Future
you might
of boxing,
think if
and
Mike
saying
was so
you'll retire
confident
the
about
legendary Iron Mike once and for all. That's like a toddler challenging a seasoned superhero to a duel. The boxing world understandably was a mix of skeptical snickers and outright disbelief. Everyone was itching to see if Jake could back up his big talk, or if it was just another case of internet hype. Just have a look at the confidence, man, I mean. But on the other hand, as the fight loomed closer, Tyson's training routine became the talk of the town. At 55, Tyson's not just easing into retirement, he's going full throttle under the watchful eye of his trainer Raphael Cordo. Tyson's been sweating buckets, shedding pounds and getting back some of that ferocious speed and power that made him a household name. Those training videos of Tyson pounding the pads like a man possessed. Now please don't ask me about Jake Paul's training routine.
just have a look at the confidence, man.
Even if Mike Tyson says let's do this, are you down?
100%.
But on the other
out
hand,
there
as the fight
posting
loomed
workout
closer,
videos and
Tyson's
showing off
training
his muscles like he's auditioning for a fitness infomercial. But let's be real, not everyone's buying into the hype. Tyson, meanwhile, was just going about his business until he caught wind of something so disappointing about Jake that even he couldn't brush it off. But before I spill the beans, have you ever noticed how Jake's muscles seem to grow faster than a chia pet, and his stamina never seems to run out? Yes, you are almost there. So just 5 days after Jake Paul's little tiff with Mike Perry, Tyson got some news that shook him apart. On July 25, 2024, Tyson went on air and publicly accused Jake of using performance-enhancing drugs. He didn't just whisper it, he practically shouted it from the rooftops. Now Tyson's not one to go off on a tangent about stuff that doesn't matter. He's got real beef with steroids, especially in boxing. I mean, steroids in boxing, the stakes are way higher when you're talking about punches that could literally rearrange someone's face. Tyson's got this hardcore respect for boxing, and he made it crystal clear it's criminal. You hit a man after it's attempted murder. That's some heavy stuff right there in a sport where every punch can be a game changer. Steroids aren't just about bending the rules, they're about risking lives. Tyson's words struck a nerve with fans and fighters alike. Everyone got it. This wasn't just about cheating, it was about ensuring the safety of everyone in the ring.
I'm not against steroids and none of that stuff, right? Because everybody's using it, right? But it shouldn't be used.
And get this, Dana White, the UFC president, had thrown some shade Jake's way back in April 2023, hinting at possible steroid use. At the time, people thought White was just trying to stir the pot after Jake had gone after him in terms of cocaine and such humiliation. Here is that video that puts Dana on fire. But after 2 years, Tyson's recent revelations gave a whole new dimension to White's accusations. What once seemed like petty squabbling now looked like it had some serious weight behind it. One of the biggest spectacles was Tyson's guest appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast. July 28, 2024 marked the day when Tyson sat down with Rogan and laid it all out. Tyson, being his candid self, revealed he'd been using DMT as part of his training.
Possible steroid use.
I believe that you're a cheater, and I believe that you use steroids. So I want to randomly steroid test you.
So DMT, dimethyltryptamine, if you want to get technical, isn't your everyday supplement. Tyson decided to take a dip into the psychedelic pool, and it's not just about getting a buzz. No, he's using
fire.
I use cocaine.
It's a bit like he's channeling his inner shaman, while Jake Paul is allegedly living in a world of synthetic shortcuts. Tyson further said, yeah, that wasn't really cool. That's so it's your Tyson honest.
You have been caught with cocaine and hookers every other.
But after
Venom
2 years,
from the Colorado
Tyson's recent
River to get
revelations.
his head and body in top shape. Talk about a natural high. Tyson's all about shedding those mental cobwebs, losing weight and getting fit in a way that's more spiritual journey than gym grind. Quirky and totally unfiltered. So how did Jake Paul handle Tyson's allegations? Initially, Paul went into full denial mode, taking to social media to slam Tyson's claims as a smear campaign. He painted himself as a hard-working underdog, accusing Tyson of trying to sabotage him, and he even cried,
as part of his training.
I did this DMT stuff,
right?
And I lost that.
So
Paul
DMT,
threw up a bunch of
dimethyltryptamine,
evidence: his intense training routine, his clean drug tests, and his supposedly rock-solid dedication. He even dared Tyson to prove the accusations, betting that no evidence would surface. Bold move, right? But the internet wasn't having any of it. Now, if you're even remotely thinking Tyson would just let this slide after all this nonsense, check out what he said to Damon Elliott recently. No, he's not talking about raw fish meat here like your sushi dish. With Tyson, you got to expect both literal and symbolic meanings, just not anything human, for crying out loud. Tyson's whole approach was a masterclass in psychological warfare. It wasn't just about getting fit, it
Yeah, that wasn't really cool. That's in the.
So it's your
was
Tyson
about rattling
honest.
Paul's cage. I might have to eat it now because my opponent going to be raw meat. That's that. Just go ask big names like Lennox Lewis and Max Kellerman and they'll back up Tyson's side of things. I mean, this is the guy who literally bit Holyfield's ear off, so yeah, he could probably take a bite out of Jake Paul too. And with Tyson's revelation about the peas, it's going to be tough for him to...
People just like attacking Jake Paul and like wanting to see me fail for literally like fucking nothing. Like they're suing me for something I didn't do. Like, on God, it's just the most bullshit thing.
Paul
Let
threw
this
up a
slide
bunch
now.
of
Joe
evidence.
Rogan, he
His
had this
intense
take that fighting someone like Jake Paul, who's seen as a bit of a loose cannon in boxing, would be an insult to Tyson. Rogan's basically saying, why would Tyson waste his time? But Tyson, in true Tyson fashion, just laughs it off. I might have liked my So when Joe Rogan asked Tyson why he's putting up with all this nonsense from Paul when he's known for not taking
Remember,
crap from
you used to
anyone,
spit
even
that
random
stuff
folks
out.
at the mall, Tyson...
What are you eating? Raw meat. Seriously, Mike, you're eating raw meat? Are you swallowing it, or remember you used to spit that stuff out?
I'm gonna have to eat it now because my opponent's gonna be raw meat.
That's right.
I have the same, you know.
Wow, it's like animal. It's like you're going to the animal. You're going right to the animal linguistics. You're like, I see it in your eyes. It's getting scary. I don't know if beautiful is the word. It's gonna be scary.
Everything, scariness is.
Yeah.
Depends on how much you're scared of, how beautiful it may be.
Yeah. Well, I'm loving this. I think we need to, as soon as the fight's over, we need to go smoke a little bit.
Maybe so. I got a lot.
There's gonna be a lot of pent up aggression.
People that are close to me would agree with you.
I know that's right, and I know who you're talking about. We'll leave that alone. But it's good because, you know, I know you're a gentle giant, but not in that ring, brother. So can I come down to the training facility and can we film some of that?
Down the street.
All right, I'm gonna come down. So Gino, I'm gonna send you down there because.
Give me 2 weeks and you'll come down there and hang out with me.
All right.
You gotta interview me. What do you mean?
No,
had this
he's
to
not
say, I
talking
put so
about raw
much of
fish
myself
meat here.
into buckling my emotions and everything that was magnificent. I put so much of myself into buoying my emotions and everything that was magnificent that, in other words, Tyson's working hard to keep his cool and channel his energy into this fight. But let's be real, November 15th is going to be a show like no other way beyond what you're expecting. And if you're a Tyson fan, skipping updates.
No, it doesn't. I don't
No?
think. I think it's awesome.
You think it's awesome?
Yeah, I think it'll piss me off. I think it's cool.
You think it's cool? That's awesome. That's awesome that you handle it that way. Because, like, in a way, I mean, it's kind of insulting.
So when Joe Rogan asked Tyson why he's putting up with